Hello, peace seekers. This is Saniqua White dropping in to give you a piece of my mind that will hopefully give you some peace of mind. And today I'm completing, or not completing, or carrying on and continuing with my series on coaching the called, which is actually what I do in my coaching practice. I coach the called. And when I say the called, I am talking about people with God-given gifts that they are to use and present to the world for kingdom building, that they are using themselves as vessels or allowing themselves to be used as vessels for kingdom building, the kingdom of God. And I sent out a survey with my clients as well as others just to get some ideas of what I kind of needed to do in my coaching practice to help with the folks that I was working with. And the first question on the survey that I asked is your calling your profession? Meaning, are you operating in it as your career, your profession? If not, do you plan to, or do you have any plans to do that? And so I sent the survey out and I got back the answers, which I thought, and I had kind of a both, where some were not operating in as a profession. They were just kind of doing it on the side. And then some that actually had been operating in their gifting or their calling as their profession for many years. And I also want to add not just a profession, because it sounds weird when we're talking about the called as ministers of the gospel. It would be, are you operating in your ministry full time? Or are you not operating full time? You're just operating in the ministry when called, and you have another full-time job that kind of more so pays your bills, and you're operating in your ministry in another capacity. So I'll put it like that. And I really want to hear from you. But I would also like to share with you some of the answers that I received in the survey. So a couple of clients, many of them said that they were not operating as a profession, in it as a profession or full-time in ministry. However, that was their goal. A lot of them had to work jobs to pay the bills, which is normal. And they were trying to figure out, okay, what's the next step? How do I get my side hustle or whatever it is I'm doing, or however I'm operating in my gift currently that is not full time? How do I get there? And sometimes it does happen in steps, and sometimes God just, boom, gives you a way into doing that. And so if I were you, I would definitely pray and seek God. If what your gifting and calling is not what you're doing full time, and you desire for it to be, seek God and ask him how, when, where. Ask him all those questions, and then listen. A lot of the times we will pray and we will talk, but we forget to actually listen for the answer. So I would ask you to pray and then listen for what God has to say about that. And another thing that I would add is, one of the reasons why I believe God brought me to this place of coaching the called is because I am also a creative artist. I'm a writer. So I would consider that a non-performing creative artist. I love writing. But before I started coaching the called, I had written a book that really not very many people had seen, because I didn't think it was good enough. And there were some issues with it, because when I write, what I'm seeing is a screenplay or a movie. And so when you try to write a book in that fashion, it kind of doesn't go over too well. So I did have some things in my book that I needed to correct, and I didn't know how. So I was kind of sitting on my gift, so to speak. And God began to talk to me, but through the clients he was sending into my practice, because I was not advertising or marketing for this particular type of client. And when they were coming in, this wasn't the first topic of conversation. This is something that came out through therapy. Again, I was seeing these clients in my therapy practice originally and began to see that therapy, while it was good for them for a while, once we got to the point of coaching or needing to be coached, I was kind of stopped or stunted because I hadn't started a coaching practice. I wasn't coaching. And so I was wondering why God was sending me these people. So I asked, and yes, I expected him to answer, but not so quickly and not in the way that he answered me. So I asked him, who were these people? Basically, why was I receiving all of these people who were called and I didn't really know what to do with them? And he answered me and said he was sending them to me because I was one of them, and that I needed to be able to do for myself what I was asking them to do for themselves and others. So going back to that book that I had written that no one had really seen, God said that I needed to get that book out. I didn't want to hear that, but of course I knew that he was telling me the truth. And so I worked really hard on getting that book out, and I experienced some of the things that many artists and others who have to present themselves publicly and put themselves out there, I felt some of those things that they experience as well, with the anxiety about putting this out there and what were people going to think, what were they going to say, or was I going to get backlash? But I knew that I had to obey God. When I shouldn't have asked the question if I didn't want to obey. So I did. I published my first book in 2017. It's called A Time to Heal. And after that, it was like God opened the floodgates, and I've been writing ever since. So Coaching the Called is a book that I am just about to publish at the time that I am making this video. So that will be out for you soon. But right now, I am teaching you the content that is in the book. And so writing, when I ask if your gifting or calling is your profession, or if you're doing that full time, I am not writing full time yet. I don't know if God is going to move me in that direction, but right now I am combining my love of mental health and my love and passion for writing together. And I am creating works and projects that combine faith and mental health, because I believe that faith and mental health are not mutually exclusive. You do not have to not go and talk to someone because you're a believer of Christ or you love God. It doesn't mean because you go and seek help for yourself with therapy or coaching or whatever, it doesn't mean that you believe God less. I believe that seeking someone who is also a follower of Christ gives you someone to walk with you through your process until the answers to your prayers have manifested, in someone who can pray for you and with you if that's what you'd like, so that you have someone who is in agreement with you when you pray. And for me, that's what my assignment, my gifting, my calling is about. I am the vessel that God uses to write books, but I am also the vessel that God uses to help people build the mental strength that they will need to operate in their gifting and calling, both on and off their platforms, with excellence. And that is why I do the work that I do. So I want you to think about whether or not you even need to operate in your gifting or calling as your profession or full time. You may or may not. That's something that you really want to seek God about. But you want to make sure that you are in a position to use that gift when God needs for you to use that gift. And I'm telling you, I listened to a pastor named Sean Strickland, and she's on YouTube as well, so you can find her. I may even try to link one of her videos to this so that you can find her. But she does this thing called, I think she calls it treasure hunting or something like that. And what she does is ask God to, if she's going to Walmart, if she's going whatever, where she's going, to show her someone to either pray for or bless or something. And he does. It doesn't fail that she finds someone in the store or wherever she is to bless. And so I'm saying that because you don't have to operate in your gifting as a full-time ministry or calling if that's not what God has for you, but you can be used anywhere at any time. So what I'm saying is, whether or not your gifting is your profession or your full-time ministry, be open to God using you as the vessel to help someone anywhere at any time. So I also want you, though, to consider that you pray and ask God, especially if it is your desire for your calling to be your full-time thing. Ask God and then listen. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. I will certainly be back with the more questions that I asked on the survey for you to get and for you to be able to answer for yourself. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you'll receive all the next videos that I'm going to be producing for you. If you'd like to comment, I would definitely love to hear from you. I'll be back soon with more, but until then, be proactive about your mental health, be well, and God bless.